This is Nikhil from Deathless Entertainment. You're watching Deathless TV, and I'm here with a man. Why don't I let him introduce himself? Who are you and what do you do?
My name is Horus The Astroneer, and I make music. And if you don't know that, I'm sorry. We're here.
Okay. Oh,
good?
Perfect.
Fire.
I'm just gonna do a quick clap really fast, and then you guys you're free to do your thing.
Fire.
3, 2, 1, action.
I want to talk about the song Doomslayer. Can you talk a little bit about like how that came about?
The original Doomslayer was just me and Ghost, and I dropped it on August 8th of last year. So it was a little over exactly a year old. I just loved the song at the time. I was like, this is just like amazing. And at the time I was only like, if I went on tour with them, I was just selling merch and I was doing things like that. So I didn't even have this whole like, let's make a song to perform and let's do this whole like
That wasn't really
thing.
even like...
No, I just wanted to make music. I didn't care. I didn't care about any of that, you know. And then so I made the song Doomslayer, a regular song. It came out as me and Eric. Then this past summer, we were touring with Horror, and who is a huge inspiration to me. It was amazing to get the chance to open for them. I wouldn't have even started making music if I wasn't inspired by them.
Wow.
You know, like them, like they are legendary, both of them, you know, in a level that I feel like a lot of people will never even understand. They're legendary. And last tour, I was opening up and it was me, Horror, and then Parvo and Ghostemane, and then one day Gene, the taller, dreaded motherfucker from Horror, right? He comes up to me and he's like, yo, that song you got, I don't know what it's called, but it's like Doomslayer. And he starts singing it to me. He's like, bro, he's like, that shit hits hard. He's like, I want to do something on that. And I was like, what? I was like, one of my biggest inspirations just approached me about doing a song. I was like, what? And like in Australia and New Zealand, me and Kale, the drummer for Ghostemane, we were talking about doing a Doomslayer remix that had him on the drums, because I just wanted to get him on the drums, hitting hard, you know? This is perfect, let's do it. Let's do the whole fucking remix. Let's remix the whole song, fuck it. You know, so I sent him the song and he wrote a verse and all this, and like, I asked him, I was like, yo, Edie, how's Edie from, you know, the other guy from Horror with the faux hawk and shit? Does he want to get on the song? And like, you know, Gene hits me up and he's like, oh, Edie wants to get on the song now. And I was like, oh, this is perfect, whatever. So I made the beat a little longer and I sent it to Edie and I was like, you know, like, just send it back whenever you got it, you know? And like, I get, you know, Dana Dentata, who's like my sister, you know, I love her fucking endlessly to the, you know, to the end of the earth. And she, you know, she did the intro on the song, and it ended up being just like the best thing ever to be able to bring all these people together on this song when it started as such a small idea.
Yeah.
And then like for me to sit in my fucking bedroom and listen to this final product blaring off my speakers of all these people, my big brother and my idols, and like this woman I consider my sister, like to hear all these people together on this song and this cohesive thing, and it was perfect. It was like, it was just beautiful. It was beautiful to me, you know, it was so beautiful to this day. Probably one of the most beautiful creations I've ever made, you know, just to bring everybody together like that. And now to be able to perform it live with, you know, with Eric on stage is just unbelievable, you know. He told me right before this tour, he's like, yo, we're gonna do it, we're gonna perform it. Like, you know, the song hits, like everyone loves it, we're gonna perform it live. Like, you know, like let's get it ready, let's do it, let's rehearse it. Da, da, da.
So
and I was
dope.
like, just like, even at rehearsal, you know, in Santa Ana a few days ago, we were rehearsing the song, and it felt like I had just performed it for the crowd, because I was like, I can't believe we're doing this, you know, like, it was amazing. It was amazing the way it came together, you know, truly, like in every sense of the word. Like, I'm very thankful for everyone who is a part of that song.
So why don't we take it from the very beginning? Where were you
So-
born?
I was born in Florida, Boynton Beach, Florida. I lived there till I was like 13. I moved to New York after that, lived there for about 10 years. While I was on tour in Europe, my mom moved down to North Carolina. I went there, I stayed with her for a while, and then I moved to Cali, and here I am, sitting in LA. Just trying to make a living. Try to get by.
I feel it. What was your childhood like, if you could explain it for us?
My childhood was dark, and I didn't know it. I didn't know it right away, but my dad was like, he didn't get the chance to live his own dreams out, you know? And he did his best to try and live his own dreams out through us. Through me and Eric, you know, and like making us like play football and like do all these things that like we didn't want to do, but you know, he wanted us to do because he didn't have a chance to do it. So he wanted to kind of live vicariously through us, you know what I mean?
Right.
And I just kind of went with it because I was so young. I was just like, I just want to make dad happy, you know what I mean? I just want to make dad happy no matter what it takes. And my brother was always the rebellious spirit. He was always the crazy hairdo, crazy clothes, crazy type, you know? And I was like the more, like, let me just make dad proud. I just want dad to tell me he's proud type of shit, you know? And then he died when I was 13. And we thought it was the worst thing ever. But it turned out low-key, like as dark as it sounds, it turned out low-key being a blessing, because here we are, you know? I get to live my dream. I've been places around the world that I could have never dreamed of being in my whole life, you know? And like, I've been there just chilling, not even working, just chilling, you know? So like, it's a blessing. It's a fucking blessing. Like, I can't tell you how thankful I am to be a part of what I'm a part of, and be a part of BLACKMAGE, be a part of the team, everything. Like, it's amazing. It's truly amazing. It's a dream come true. You know, it's a family. It's a family. In every sense of the word, it's a dream come true.
Yeah. So
Can't
how did like
stress that.
BLACKMAGE like come about in the beginning?
It was just like as natural as fuck. Like my brother Ghostemane, he just had an album called BLACKMAGE. He had texted me and he was like, yo, just letting you know, like a year or so from now, a couple of years from now, I'm gonna start pushing the BLACKMAGE shit heavy. You know, so like start putting it in your bio and start repping it and start holding it like dear to your heart, you know what I mean? And I was like, oh, okay, whatever, you know what I mean? Like, I'm part of the crew, whatever. I'm chilling, you know? Just like, I was just starting to make music. I was only producing. I wasn't even like a rapper or anything at the time. Like, I just wanted to be a producer. I just wanted to be one of those motherfuckers that made beats for everybody. I wanted to be I wanted to be that dude that like Ronnie J or some shit like that. Like you hear a banger from somebody and you'd be like, who produced this? And it's me, you know, like that's all I wanted to be. I just wanted to be that when I started out. And then like my production took such a weird turn and I started just being like, damn, like no one can rap on these beats. No one can hit these beats like I can. So I should just start rapping on them. I should just start singing and rapping and doing all this shit, you know, and then like at that time as I was growing, BLACKMAGE just happened to be a thing that was growing as well, you know, and my brother, like, he's not the type to give handouts, you know, like he'll give you an opportunity if you deserve it. If he believes that you'll take that opportunity and make the best out of it, he'll give you that opportunity, you know, but he won't hand you shit. If you don't deserve it, you ain't getting nothing, you know, and like, so he gave me this chance. And like, basically a year ago from this time, October of last year, we started a US and Canada tour. And like we had no openers for the Canada dates. For Montreal and Toronto, we had no openers. So my brother came to me and he was like, yo, do you want to open? Do you want to play these shows? And I was like, and I was selling merch. I was on the merch table. I was selling all the shirts and all that shit, you know? And like, and I still meet people to this day that I see with them shirts on and I'm like, yo, I probably sold you that, you know? So like, we hit Canada and like, I performed those shows and I was like, this is what I'm meant to be doing, you know? Like, this is my life. Like, this is what it's supposed to be like, you know? Like, this is what I'm meant for, you know? And like, so after those 2 Canada dates, like I showed up and I you know, played my fucking heart out. And my brother came to me and he was like, all right, well, we're going to Europe next. Like, do you want to open up? Do you want to play in Europe? And I was like, yeah. I was like, what the fuck? Yeah, bro. So we went all around Europe and I you know, I opened the show all around Europe and it was amazing, you know, like Ukraine is an amazing city, and like Finland was the first show I played that made my fucking dream come true, you know? Like,
why is that?
Because like I played Finland and like it was like a weird night and like we got into the city late and like I didn't have a lot of sleep and I was like drunk as fuck and I was just like all this like sloppy. Mm-hmm. And I went out there and I played my set and it was just like they just opened up this pit for me, you know? And like at the time I only played like 5 shows. Like I wasn't this like established performer, you know? Yeah. Like I only played a couple shows and then they just opened this pit for me. And I was like, and my dream was to play my songs from inside the crowd, you know, always just to get in the crowd and play my songs. So like I said to the crowd and I was like, yo, I want to come down and play the rest of my songs in the crowd. And they were cheering and calling me down and all this shit. And I was like, what is this? Like, this is the most amazing thing ever. Like, what the fuck? Like, how is this possible?
Did it feel real when it was happening?
It felt real but surreal. Like, yeah. like so real that it was like I couldn't even grasp it, you know? And like, I go down in the crowd, I play all my songs and like, everyone was just turning the fuck up and like, they didn't even know me, but it was just because I brought the energy.
Yeah.
You know, and like, and Europe has a different kind of energy. Like, they'll bring that shit. If you come out on stage and you show that you're not afraid and that you're killing shit and that you got that big dick energy, you know what I mean? They'll match that shit and they'll come right with you, you know what I mean? And they'll turn up right with you and like, it was just amazing. And like this, like, I wear this unicorn on my neck every day, and it's like a machine toy. It's like a shitty quality, like little unicorn necklace. Some dude gave me his, as I was leaving the crowd that night, some dude gave me his chain. He was like, here. He's like, I don't got nothing else, but take my chain. I went backstage and I took the unicorn off the chain because it was a cheap ass chain, and I didn't want my neck to turn green and shit. Yeah. So I was like, and I've been having this chain on my whole life since I was a little kid. So I was like, it's perfect. I'll just put the unicorn on that chain. I'll just wear it every day. You know, I'll never take that shit off. Like, just to remind me, no matter what happens, no matter what hardships come, no matter what bad shows I play, no matter what, I already achieved my dream. I already played my songs for a crowd of people that's jumping up and down and calling me down into the crowd, and I go down there and they're turning up with me. Like, I've already done that, you know? So I wear that as a reminder. So like, whenever shit gets hard, whenever drives suck or shows suck, crowds suck, whatever the fuck the case may be, they booing me off stage, whatever the fuck, I already lived my dream.
Right.
So nothing can stop me. You know what I mean?
Would you say that that was the happiest moment of your life?
Yeah, for sure. For sure, it was. It was like to look up and to realize that, like, because like at the time I was making all my music in my bedroom.
Right.
You know, like shitty quality, just making my shit in my bedroom and like just singing whatever fucking words I wrote, and like, and now y'all are here, like turning up with me, jumping up and down, going crazy. I'm in the crowd next to you.
Yeah.
And you're going crazy with me to some shit ass music I made in my bedroom.
Yeah.
So yeah, bro, like
I mean, that's what it feels like to you, but people like seeing you perform and like your catalog, it's like to you it may be shit, but to a lot of people, like I feel like you inspire a lot. Like
yeah,
a lot
and
of
like
subject matter.
and like that's what's crazy to me is because like they come to me and they tell me I'm an inspiration to them, or like I make them feel powerful or something, and it's like, nah, but like you make me feel powerful. You know, like you're insane, bro. Like before I started touring, I was washing dishes.
Wow.
I was scrubbing fucking chicken off of plates and shit. Like that was my life. And here I am in the middle of God knows what city, and y'all are jumping up and down with me.
Yeah.
Like, come on, bro. Like,
so what would you say on the flip side, if you could think of the most defeated that you've ever felt in your whole life?
the most defeated I've ever felt.
And how did you overcome it?
I still feel that way. Like tonight, you know, even tonight, it wasn't the best show for me. You know, like, you know, we're here in San Francisco, and like, you know, I played my set, and like the whole crowd wasn't even there yet. A lot of people were buying merch, and a lot of people were trickling around, getting their drinks, whatever. You know, I didn't play for a big crowd, and then even when I did play, they weren't really turning up for me and stuff like that. So like, it happens all the time. I feel defeated, you know, because I gave everything up for this.
Yeah.
You know, and like, so when it reaches a time that I'm like, damn, this is all I have, and y'all ain't even turning up for me, you know? So like, I get into that headspace sometimes where I'm like, damn, like, am I wasting my time? Like, am I supposed to be here? Like, am I in the right place? Like, am I doing it correctly? Like, am I actually killing it the way I thought I was? You know, it makes me second guess. But then I think back and I gotta be like, I played in front of 4,000 people in Moscow.
Fuck, dude.
I played in front of 4,000 people in Moscow, bro. So I can't let some shit like this defeat me.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
you have that big picture.
Yeah,
where
dude.
You've
like,
seen so much.
And I've been all over the fucking world on this shit. And I'm not trying to, cause like this comes off as like a pompous type of like, you know, oh, I did this, I did that. Like, I'm not even trying to say it like that. It's just, I'm thankful that I've been all these places and I've seen these things and I've played for these crowds of thousands of people, you know, so like, and I have to use that because there is times that it gets bad and like I play a show and they're not turning up for me, or like they don't even know me, or like, or it's the opposite. Last night in Santa Ana, my intro hit and people are calling my name. The most important thing in the world to me is if I can connect with you. You know, if I release a song and you listen to it and you listen to my words and you connect with me and you could tell me like, yo, this line that you said, this thing that you said about this, I connect with that so hard.
Yeah.
Like, I would take that over 1 million people loving my shit.
Yeah.
Or 1 million people jumping up and down to a song that I play that has a catchy beat.
Right.
I'd rather play 100 shitty shows and have that one dude come up to me and tell me that I connected with them and resonated with them on a personal level than anything. That's the most important thing to me. You know, that's what I started doing this for, was to like give people someone to connect with when they feel like they got nobody.
Is that what you think inspired you to start making music? Or maybe even like give us a background of like how you started with production and then like eventually like led into vocals, or were you always doing vocals?
I honestly, I was never doing vocals because I didn't like my voice.
Really?
Yeah, bro. I still don't like my voice. Like,
How do you like get past that?
it's just like, at this point, a lot of people just fuck with it. And like, people that I tour with tell me that my voice is good, and people that hear me live tell me that my voice is good. So I just kind of try to take that information and like hold it in my heart and be like, okay, my voice is good. It doesn't actually suck, you know, but like, I don't like my voice, you know, and I just try and give off the most passion and the most energy, you know, and like, I'm inspired by people like Gerard Way, you know, lead singer of My Chemical Romance, and like, you know, Anthony Kiedis, Red Hot Chili Peppers, like people that can't sing. They can't sing. Gerard Way don't got no fucking voice. Anthony Kiedis don't got no fucking voice, or at least he used to not. But it's just they were singing music that they felt passionate about.
Yeah.
And they did it in such a way that even though the vocals were bad, you connected with it.
Yeah.
And you felt it in your heart. And you went to bed at night thinking about these songs. And that's what's most important to me, is like, okay, maybe I don't have the best voice, but at least you hear my passion and you hear how hard I'm feeling this shit. And hopefully that makes you feel it as hard as I feel it. You know, and like that's what's most important to me is connecting. That's what it's all about, you know? Like I want to give the people that don't have an outlet and they don't have anyone to connect to and they don't have friends and they don't have, you know, their family sucks and their shit like, and you know, and I'm just like, thank you, dog. Thank you for coming out. See, like that shit, even that shit, like that's everything. That's everything to me, the littlest thing, you know, like if somebody sees my show and they feel it and they come up to me, just like that's everything to me, you know, like
yeah.
I'd rather be flat broke, feeling like, you know, can't eat, can't do nothing, but I'm out here with that opportunity to connect with somebody,
yeah,
than making hella money at some job.
Right.
You know, like I'd rather be on my ass doing nothing, but have that chance that somebody walks up to me and gives me a high five, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I feel like that means everything.
it's everything, bro.
In your most recent album, Dysengage, which I love, by the way,
Thank you.
there's a song called The Lingering Habit, and you say, now we're stuck between our passions and the path they've set for us. What kind of avenues were like preventing you? Did it ever prevent you from like reaching that goal, do you feel like? Or do you feel like everyone kind of resonates with that?
I feel like everyone resonates with that, and if you don't, you should, because that is the biggest problem right now, is there's a predetermined mold, you know, like you start school when you're 5 years old.
Yeah.
You graduate when you're 18. You go to college right then and there. You graduate college when you're 22. And then you have a degree in something that isn't your fucking passion, that you don't care about, but your mom told you that that's what you should be doing with your life, so that's what you're doing.
Yeah.
And so we're stuck between our passion and the path they've set for us. That's what that's about, is because the path they've set for us is what we are led to believe we're supposed to do.
Right.
You know, that's the oh, you have to go get this job and you have to go do this and you have to go do that. No. If you're living on the streets but you're following your passion, you're winning. That dude that's making 100 racks a year but he's in a job that he hates his life, he's not winning.
No.
He thinks he's winning because that is the path they've set for him. That is what he is led to believe is happiness. But he ain't winning. He ain't winning, you know? I can barely afford to eat, but I'm living my fucking dream out here.
Yeah.
I'm winning. I am winning. And anybody in my position is winning. Anybody who has an opportunity like this is winning. You know, so that is what that line is about. Like we're stuck between our passion and the path they've set for us, as in we're stuck between making the choice of following our dream and doing what we truly want, or listening to what mom and dad tell us, listening to what society tells us, listening to what our boss tells us. You know, we're stuck between, it's like a rock and a hard place, you know, because following your dream ain't easy.
No.
None of this shit is easy. Touring ain't easy. Everyone is that, oh, you're touring, you go to this, you go to that. Oh, you've been to this city, it's not just inherently fun. Like I had a homie get mad at me because he asked me about Paris. I told him Paris, I was like, Paris, yeah, like whatever, you know, it's just like, whatever, like, because that time in the tour when we hit Paris, it was a weird episode and we were all stressed out.
And no one sees that.
You know, so we were like, for us hitting Paris was stressful because we were like, we got so much going on and there's so much like to deal with right now, but like, it's hard to tell that to someone on the outside because they'd be like, oh, you're in Paris, Eiffel Tower, da da da, and you're like, no, like you have to make it that way. Like Paris was fun for me because me and the crew, we made it fun. We made sure that we got on the little scooters and we were riding around the city and acting like idiots and hanging out. Yeah, exactly. We were on the Lime scooters and we were chilling. Bro, there was a squad of like fucking 10, 12 of us, like just like a biker gang through Paris.
That's so
you know what I'm
crazy.
saying? Like, so we were chilling, but like if you don't go out of your way to do those things, you're not just gonna have fun.
Yeah. Well,
We love you, Horus. We love you, baby dad.
I love you too.
Just got a drive-by shout out for Horus.
The drive-by shout out. That's the best.
So epic.
It's the best. See, like, That's never happened before. That's the first time that ever happened. Y'all just witnessed it. That's the first time.
That's
like,
amazing.
You know what I mean?
Car.
Yeah, like the drive-by shout out. Oh, biggest fan. Like that's never happened before.
When you first like were getting into making music seriously, being the fact that your brother is Ghostemane, like, did you feel any pressure from him?
A little bit, but not really, because our interests in music have always been so different. And so there was never a time, like even now in the middle of making my album and everything, like Dysengage, like that's the biggest thing I've ever done. That is my holy grail. That's my greatest creation, start to finish. You know, that's what I feel the best about. And like never once during the process of making that is there like a, oh, you know, well, are people gonna think that this is like a Ghostemane ripoff or not? Like, I don't even think of that. My brother is a huge inspiration to me as a man. My brother proved to me that it was possible. I've been his biggest fan since day one, since nobody was listening to his shit, since he was wanting to quit and never do it again. You know, I was the motherfucker that was there trying to hold him up. I draw the inspiration from his work ethic. And I have a separate path. I was always a hip hop kid because I was in New York. At the time, like my dad didn't let me listen to hip hop, you know, because my dad was not a hip hop guy. He was a classic rock guy. You know, he got me into Led Zeppelin and Bad Company and like all that kind of like you know 60s, 70s like hippie rock. And then like he showed me Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch, and like just rhythm, just the rhythm and the beats and like the bass line and all that kind of stuff. Like that was the shit that hit with me. You know, and like I was made for that. I was made for that. And like my brother was punk, death metal, hardcore. I was in high school trying to rap, and like I downloaded like, you know, KRS-One beats and Tupac beats and Biggie beats and all that, and like I was rapping on those, like just like trying to see what I can do, you know. And like my brother was in hardcore bands, like playing guitar and shit, and like
different
just
lanes.
completely different avenues. And like we saw each other once a year, and like so we weren't all that close. Like we would talk constantly, like we were brothers no matter what. Nothing ever came between us. Like nothing ever, you know, made it to the point that we were not homies. Like we were always homies. We were always close, but we weren't. Thank you. We weren't like close until about 2 years ago when he asked me to come on the first tour to sell his merch for him, to sell his t-shirts and stuff like that. And of course I just jumped right on the fucking opportunity. And like, you know, I've been touring with him since. I've been all around the fucking world, and like now we're inseparable, you know, because we've been everywhere together. You know,
so eventually the paths like came together.
We've been everywhere together. Like we went from seeing each other once a year to being in New Zealand, sitting in a hotel room together, just like, why are we here? Like,
what's that like? What's that conversation like? You guys are just like reminiscing?
To be honest, the first time it hit, the first time I can ever remember that feeling hitting, we were touring Europe and we were in Hamburg, and we played an old Nazi bunker. Like this venue was like,
so
bro, if you can see it,
crazy.
it's this big ass crazy structure, like a bunker, like a fucking like a bomb could hit this shit, like to the point that it's actually historical. Like there wasn't enough explosives to level this bunker without leveling the entire city in a mile radius.
What the fuck?
So they were like, all right, we're not gonna bomb this building. We'll just keep it standing. So we're in this venue and we play this show, and it's like, and like the fucking green room of the venue has like this little spiral staircase, and it's like a straight up opium den up like upstairs. Like it's like this low ceiling, like beds everywhere, like dark lighting type shit. Like, you know, you're just like, what the fuck is this shit? Like, and that was the first time it hit, because we sold out the show, and it was right in the beginning of the tour. And I remember me and my brother were just sitting on the couch, and like the venue brought us a bottle of champagne, and they were like, yo, for selling it out, for killing the show, for doing all this shit here, we're just gonna give you this bottle. And we're like, and it was like some away, it was like some crazy shit. And we were like, all right, fire, like this is sick, like this is so sick. It was just me and my brother on the couch in this green room. The green room is clear. and we're just passing this bottle of champagne, and we're just like, how are we here right now? We used to play with Matchbox cars together and pretend they were cars from Twisted Metal and shit, and like, we're around the world now, you know? Like, it was just like, there's no way I could even describe the feeling, you know? It's the most amazing thing in the world to do that with your family, you know, especially when like our dad, he didn't believe in this, you know, and like he died long before this ever started happening, but he didn't understand hip hop, and he didn't understand he was into Eminem because he resonated with Eminem on a personal level, because their moms were very much the same and things like that, but like he wasn't actually a hip hop dude. We never connected with him on a musical level like that. So for us to be just sitting in Hamburg in this old Nazi fortress, passing this bottle of champagne, and we're just like, how did this happen? You know, like, how the fuck did we end up here? You know, like, it's a beautiful feeling, and there's no words I could even use to describe it, you know, to look over and see your brother sitting there, you know what I mean? And like, and especially because I'm his biggest fan.
Yeah.
You know, like, no matter what, like my brother is taking the world over, and like for him to be impacting everything the way that he is, but to still be the same dude that I've just known all these years, like.
And you of all people would know that. Yeah,
exactly. You know, I've seen him at his lowest points. I've seen him at points that, you know, a lot of people wouldn't even imagine seeing him at. I've been there, you know, but I'm his brother. That's my job. And for us to be able to do this now, dude, like I said before, there's nothing I'd rather be doing. I'd rather be flat broke, not able to shower, not able to shit, not able to do nothing, and doing this with my brother than scrubbing some dishes and making money. You know what I mean? Like, this is beauty to me. Like, this is what it's meant to be.
How does your mom feel about all of this? Is she supportive of
My
what
mom
you're
is
saying?
our biggest fan.
That's so cool.
Yeah, bro. My mom, the first time she ever saw both of us perform was in Charlotte, North Carolina, this past summer. She's funny because she showed up, and she doesn't, like, she listens to our music as much as she can, but she doesn't understand it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Not like all the way.
Yeah. So like, she supports it and she'll bump it and she'll be like going to it, but like, she doesn't really understand it, you know? So like, when she saw us in Charlotte, and she saw like how we affect the fans, and she saw how we connect with people, and she saw me get in the crowd and do my set, and like, she saw all these things, and she was just like mind blown, you know, like.
Yeah. Do you think that that's when she like really just like got a grasp on like how big this shit really is?
Yeah, and like, what's funny about my mom is that like, she's always been our biggest fan, you know, since day one, since the darkest times with my dad and all that shit. My mom's always been our biggest fan, and like, it's funny because like, my mom was like, you know, fuck face tats, like that shit's like, I hope y'all never do that, like to me and my brother, like, I hope you guys never do that, and that's gross, and how could you ruin your face like that, and blah, blah, blah. All of a sudden my brother gets Kabbalion tattooed across his forehead. And my mom's reaction was like, it's pretty cool, I like it, it's cool. Like, I was like, yo, like 2 months ago you told me never to get a face tat, and now you're just supporting it. Like, you know, like that, like, that's just our mom, dude.
She sounds like such a cool mom.
My mom is the greatest woman in the world, man. Like, you know what I mean? She's what we do all this for. All of this. This is not for me. This is not for him. This is not for us. You know, and that's like, we can't stress that enough. Yeah. It's not for us. This is possible because of anyone who hears even one line that I say in a song and can come up to me and tell me, oh, this line that you said, that's why I do it, for that. My mom is the one that instilled it in our head that we gotta follow our dream, you know?
Right.
So she's our inspiration, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
For everything. for everything. Like her resolve and her strength to keep going all through those years with my dad and with us and at the hardest times and all that. That's our inspiration. That's why we do this, is because of her. She's BLACKMAGE team mom, you know what I'm saying? like she is like the basis of all of this. This is not possible without her.
And your song Blood Camo, also from Dysengage, go fucking stream that however you want to stream it. Dysengage.
It's on everything right now, yeah.
So you say live and die between the guided lines of God, and now you've died and God has lied. How do you survive? Can you explain that?
Organized religion is bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a hard pill to swallow. Live and die between the guided lines of God, and now you've died and God has lied. So how do you survive? Time is slipping by. This is life. Ending at 1 minute at a fucking time. Stuck in mind, struggle, cry, hate, keep it all inside. This is religion making you believe that you aren't you. Organized religion is the worst thing that ever happened to the human race. That's a hard pill to swallow, but that's the truth. You know, find faith, find belief, find strength, find power, yes. Because we're not just this physical shell, we're not this. We're more than that. I'm connected to you, you're connected to him, you're connected to me, we're all connected. And I'm sorry if that's offensive, but you're wasting your life. And you're relinquishing your chance to live your dream. So live and die between the guided lines of God, and now you've died and God has lied. That is, you're living your entire life believing that you're going to have this outcome that your God or that your preacher or whatever has told you. But now you're on your deathbed and you're taking your last couple breaths and you're talking to your family. Talking to your mom and your dad and your sister and your cousin, whatever, your best friend for the last time. And suddenly you don't believe all of those things. You don't feel that all those things that you've been giving your life to forever, you don't believe they're true all of a sudden. Why? Why don't you believe that? You know, like, why are you questioning that now that you're about to die, that you're on your deathbed?
Isn't it ironic? Like, that's the time when people question something that's supposed to carry you on over into the next part.
Right when you're about to reach that brink, right when you're about to cross that threshold into heaven or into whatever they tell you is the truth, you realize that, wait a minute, I didn't live my life. I lived my life on your rules. I didn't live my life based on my rules. You know, like I said, find faith, find your belief, yes, 100%. Bowing down to something, bowing down is what loses your ability as a human to be more than a human, if that makes sense.
Yeah, do you believe that we all have like the capabilities of being like gods in our own way?
Of course, we're all gods. Everyone's God. That's why my name is Horus, because I'm a god. And you're a god, and you're a god, and everyone watching this is a god. Everyone's a fucking god. And if you don't come into that, you're wasting your time. You're wasting your whole fucking life. Everyone has all the power that they believe they don't have, they actually have over their own future, over their own lives, over everything. And if you don't believe that, you're wasting your time.
Do you feel like fear is like a big reason why people are unable to like do what they really want to do?
Okay, wait. Can I piss real quick?
Yeah.
And you can actually, I gotta piss so bad.
Of course, of course.
I'm about to piss right up in here. Hold on.
Yeah, do it.
2 seconds.
I saw you.
Holy shit. You ever have them like dark ass, like I drank way too much pisses? Like that's what that was.
I just had that like 5 minutes ago, bro.
Bruh, God damn. I was sitting here and like I'm trying to answer your questions and I
like, can you
I got like a
give me a
stomach ache.
second?
I'm like, dog, please, I can't no more.
Dude, I'm glad you said something because that would have sucked if you were just sitting here like, this is painful.
Holy fuck.
Okay, do you think that fear is like the main thing that prevents people from doing what they want to do?
Yeah. And My first line in my song "Lingering Habit" that you talked about before, it says, "If the fear's no longer there, then there is nothing holding us." And that's because fear is the ultimate thing stopping everyone. You're scared. I'm scared right now. I'm scared of what the future holds. And, you know, before I dropped Dysengage, I was scared of what people are gonna think about it. A lot of people like to hit me up and they like to say that, like, yo, I make music and I make beats and but, you know, I'm scared to release it because I don't think it's gonna hit and I don't think anyone's gonna listen to it. And like, yeah, you're gonna release your fucking first 100 songs and no one's gonna hear them.
Yeah.
No one's gonna listen to them. You know, I remember releasing my songs and I would get 2 plays in 6 months, you know, and now I get thousands within a few days. So it's just like, it's a progression. You just gotta stifle down that fear, because that fear is crippling. It's easier to take the safe route. It's hard to say fuck everything.
Yeah.
It's hard to drop all that shit and let yourself starve and scratch and claw for your dream. If you make progress, you didn't actually fail. You know, like, okay, you played a show and it was a bad show. You didn't fail. You played a bad show, but now you have another show under your belt. Failure is the best fucking lesson we could actually get. You know, failure is the #1 thing that we have to teach us how to do it better next time.
What advice do you have to those people that are like scratching and clawing to get into a position where they can like feed themselves from their passion, like from your experience?
As long as you don't sacrifice your own beliefs, then you're gonna make it. It might take longer, it might take shorter. You might blow up in a day. You might blow up 5 years from now. But the fact is, if you don't give up on your own dream, if you believe in yourself, then you'll have what you want. That is the biggest thing right there, is you'll have what you want if you believe in yourself. A lot of these like kids that are making this music to rip off their favorite artists, they don't believe in themselves.
Is that why you think they're hiding behind like someone else's persona?
Exactly. They're too scared to venture out and do their own thing and experiment a little bit. You know, push the boundary a little bit, push the envelope a little bit. They're too scared because they think that if I don't do this song on this tempo with this beat, no one's gonna feel it.
No one's gonna think it's cool.
And you know what? You're right. You might be right. Maybe you want 10,000 people to feel it, and maybe if you follow your actual heart, maybe only 5 people feel it. But you know what? You have 5 real fans. You have 5 motherfuckers that'll ride or die for you. Over 1 million motherfuckers that'll drop you the moment you make a song that don't fit their molding.
I think that's the biggest thing.
That's the biggest fucking thing.
Yeah.
That's the biggest thing. That's why I'm not fazed anymore by playing shows where people ain't turning up for me. I don't care anymore.
Yeah.
Because there's gonna be 3 or 4 people in that crowd that DM me after the show and tell me that some specific line I said is the most resonating thing ever in their life. And that's what means a lot to me. I don't give a fuck about no clout. I don't give a fuck about getting 1 million people to hear my song, and I don't care. What I live for is that handful of people that can tell me that I said something that they resonate with, or that I inspired them to go make music now and go do their thing the way that they really want to do it. You know, that's what, and anyone who ever hits me up on Instagram on some shit like that, the first thing I tell them is don't stop. Don't stop.
So,
What we got?
have any like psychedelics played a role in your life?
The only psychedelic I've ever tried was DMT.
Really? What was that like?
The most amazing experience I've ever had in my life.
Wow.
I was in a very good environment for it. You know, it was during the last tour. We were in Santa Cruz, and like our security guard Solomon had gotten me like something like, you know, like some DMT or whatever, and I was just like down to try it, you know, and I was like, and I was surrounded by people that were like right to do that shit with.
Because that can get like very, very scary very quickly if you're not in that environment.
Yeah, 100%. If you're not in a supportive environment, it could definitely get scary very quickly. And I have no experience with acid or shrooms or anything of the sort, but I know that it's like a very long trip and it's a very like intense thing. So basically, yeah, like if you have to be in the right headspace and in the right, at the very least, in the right environment. You know, you have to be around people that love you and people that are gonna help you if you have a dark experience, you know, because there's a high chance you can have a dark experience because all that shit reacts to how you're feeling.
Yeah.
So if you're dark up here, you might have a dark experience, you know, so you have to be in an environment that's ready to handle that. Because if you got to deal with that on your own, some people I know have never recovered from it.
Yeah, they don't come back the same way.
You know, or it takes a long time for them to recover from a bad experience with that, you know.
So you, like, we talked a little bit about like you growing up and battling with depression. What advice can you give to people that are like really struggling with depression specifically?
You're beautiful. And you could do anything you want. And there's, if you're struggling with depression, there's most likely a force in your life that's making you feel that. There's a parent or a religious figure or something within your life that's making you feel repressed and held down. And you could do whatever you want. That's the biggest thing about depression, at least from my experience, is feeling helpless. Like you don't have another option, or like you have very little option, or that you don't know where to turn next and you don't know what to do next and stuff like that. And I think the ultimate piece of advice I can give is that however you're feeling is okay. It's fine, it's okay to be depressed, it's not wrong. You're not a freak for being depressed. You're not a freak for feeling alone or, you know, like detached from the group. You're not a freak. You just gotta find your lane. You gotta find your avenue, you know, and you just can't give up. You know, and it's very, very, very hard. You know, I didn't have any sort of confidence in myself until the past year. I've slowly, very slowly gotten the confidence in myself, in looking in the mirror and being like, you're doing it, you know, you're okay, you're good. You know, for every year of my life until recently, it was looking in the mirror and wanting to fucking kill who I saw and being like, I fucking hate you, you know, like you're nothing. What are you doing right now? You know, but like, you gotta teach yourself to be able to look in the mirror and be like, I'm good. You know, I feel good. I look good. I'm doing good right now. I'm not failing. I'm making progress. I'm learning. I'm doing good. You know, and it's hard, but it's possible. It's very possible.
Right. Yeah, I think it's like really small steps.
It's small steps, 100%. 100% small ass steps. It's tackling one thing at a time. You're never gonna be able to fucking take everything on at once.
All at once.
And kill it. You're never gonna be able to do that.
Yeah.
It's not possible. It's baby steps all through the whole process. The most crippling thing about depression is feeling like you don't even have a chance to take that first step. I mean, it's 50% of the fucking battle. And you take that first step, and then before you know it, you're looking back and you're realizing how much better you feel about so many different topics.
That's so cool. Any final thoughts, shout outs you want to give out?
Oh my God, not really. Honestly, just do whatever the fuck you want. And don't let anybody, I don't care if it's your mom or your dad or your preacher or your teacher, I don't care. Do what you want, because life is too short. And you can live your entire fucking life on somebody else's rules if you want, but you're never gonna be anything. And you're gonna die alone and you're gonna die sad. Or you could do whatever the fuck you want, and you might die young. But you'll die knowing you did something that meant something to you. And that's the most important thing in the world, is to do what's in your heart, no matter what. Unapologetically, be yourself. There's no other better option than that. That's it. That's cut and dry. That's it.
Thank you so much, bro.
I love you, dog. Thank
Love
you.
you too, man. That was awesome. That was awesome. Once again, this is Nikhil. You're watching Deathless Entertainment, motherfucker. Horus The Astroneer, coming to a city near you. We out. Dude, that was fucking awesome, bro. Thank you
guys.
so
Thank you.
much. That was awesome.
I don't like that was my first interview ever, and I like to talk way too much.
Dude, you made my job so easy.